Welcome. Oh, here we go. I always forget that stupid prompt in the beginning. Welcome, everybody, to Raw Babes 101. I am your host, Tiffany. Kristen is not here today. That's okay. That's why we have two of us. We can fuck shit up separately. I am so excited to have Amanda Omera on the podcast today. And we didn't want to slip into too much dialogue before I pressed record because, the one part is that we're going to get right into, Amanda, is a quick transition in your business and what you're doing, what your niche is. Now, when I first started following you, you were a business coach for fitness in the fitness industry. And
Yep.
I don't know where and when it popped up, but I saw this transition on your account and you are doing more energetic work. And that is a part of my jam. Like I am fitness. So I'm functional fitness, get to know your body through movement, breath work, and just mind, body, soul. And then I'm a Reiki master. So I
Mhm.
resonated a lot with this transition that you have been making. And
Yes.
I just started watching Goop. I don't know if you've watched it at all.
I don't think I know what that is.
Okay, this is a show, a series that Gwyneth Paltrow had started with her team. Um, I don't know if it goes further than Netflix, but it's got multiple episodes. I don't know why she called it Goop, but I heard a lot of judgment and people made fun of it over a period of time. And I was just like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, well, I don't know anything about it. I can't have an opinion about it. And I just kind of put it to the wayside. Now, it came up on my Netflix and I just started watching it. And what it was she's bringing multiple modalities for overall health through breath work, cold plunging, energetic work, understanding foods, like anything that can actually help raise the frequency in our bodies so we can live a more happy, fulfilling life. Now, one of the coaches that she had on there does the work that you do. And so when I saw that transition in your profile, I was like, shit, we need to talk about this because this is fucking badass.
That's
Now,
so cool. Goop. I'm right. I just wrote that down, so I'm totally gonna.
yeah,
It's on Netflix.
yes, it's on
Hell yeah.
Netflix. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Now for anybody that does not know what Reiki is, I teach a lot in large classes, and sometimes people are new and they come in and they don't know what it is. So for any listeners that just are just popping in and you don't know what Reiki is, it's an old ancient practice. And from what I understand, it is mandatory in Japanese hospitals that they do a lot of energetic work. And so for the practitioner, we're holding space. And the intentional space is like for us to hold it for you is, well, for me, my practice is I want you to see, hear, and feel what you are meant to see, hear, and feel in this present moment now. Um, Now, when people have aches and pains in their body, I will put more focus into that area. And it is generally just an energetic exchange. Now, for the practitioner, it's really important for us to, when we do our practice, we're not bringing in our own shit. So, first off, we need to do our own work, peeling back the onions, making sure we're dealing with our traumas and our setbacks. And it's important for us to make sure we understand how not to take on the other or the clients, the person that's receiving, we're not taking on their shit
Mhm.
because we have this ability to be able to hold other people's energy, and without doing the proper energetic cord cutting, we can actually store that stuff in our bodies, and that's what will make us sick and all the things. Even not only just other people's stuff, but our even our old energy too, that what can bring on cancer, illness, injury, all the things.
Yep.
um so you can agree with what I just said.
100%.
At a girl,
100%. Oh,
talking
and
to
did
the
I
right
learn the hard way?
girl.
I could talk about this stuff all day, all night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
girl, let's
Right
fucking
up
nerd
my
out
alley.
right now. I As you can tell, we can swear on the show. Just show up as who you are. Who the fuck are you, Amanda? My God. You just look like a shining light, and you got some beautiful things to offer. So let's hear
Oh,
more
thank
about
you.
you and let's talk about first, let's start with your practice, and then we'll get more into your story and who you are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Tiff. I'm so excited to be here and just dive into whatever comes through for us today. What's up, everyone? I'm Amanda. I'm from Colorado. I live up in the mountains here. I am a spinal energetics practitioner. I also do a little bit of Reiki, a business energetics coach, and I also do intuitive healings, energy healings, that whole shebang. But my primary work is focused around nervous system regulation, especially for business owners, entrepreneurs, the CEOs who really struggle with elevating their business because they are holding on to a lot of stress and anxiety, just all of those added dysregulated symptoms that naturally come from owning and operating a business. And so I work with my clients one-on-one in getting that nervous system to a place of calmness again, from a place where they can operate as a quote calm CEO, which is really my trademark name, if you will, when it comes to running a business.
That is so badass. And you know what does bring longevity is the lower of the stress levels in our body.
Yeah. Oh, it
Um,
really does. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're so consumed and we have so much information available outside of our worlds that can bring on stress. And not only being a CEO of any type of company, my husband and I own a very large electrical mechanical company. We have over 200 employees. I'd say it was 300 by now because we've just
Wow.
like umbrellaed out so much. But there is such a huge level of responsibility. Hence, depending on how we deal with that, what kind of stress levels we allow ourselves to fall
Mm,
into. Um, Now, with the pressures of falling into, are you doing the right things? Are you up to par with HR? Are you operating at the level the government is willing to allow you to? What hoops do you need to fall through so we're not paying it of our ass? Are we meeting everybody's needs? Like we're holding jobs for so many people. There's so much
mhm.
responsibility. They have families, and it's like it's so hard not to think of these things.
Yeah.
Um, so how did you get into, the spinal energetic practitioner work?
Oh gosh, where do I begin? So the spinal energetics, long story short with that, I honestly just came across it on social media and I just knew instantly, I'm like, I am meant to do this work. It was just this inner knowing of, yes, I need to do this. It's such a rare modality today. And I've tried every modality out there. I've even gone down to Costa Rica and done ayahuasca. I've done I've every type, including the manifestation techniques, affirmations, journaling, Reiki, energy healing, hypnosis. I've done it all. And this has been the most powerful work just for me personally. And I've seen it be the aha moment for so many of my clients as well, to really help them get back to their own innate wisdom, their own body's intelligence, to really tap into their own healing powers. So
Yes.
I got into spinal energetics earlier this year, actually.
Nice.
So I was that dysregulated CEO. I owned a couple businesses before I got into the healing work. And so, from my own experience, I suffered greatly. A lot of stress came through, a lot of triggers came through as a CEO, just from the common fears of failure, the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, the people pleasing when it comes and coaching your clients and having those healthy boundaries when operating a business. And then, being able to let go of control as a business owner too, and especially with a team, and like being able to trust not only your team but yourself, most importantly. And I struggled bad. Like, there were nights where I couldn't sleep, I couldn't turn work off. I mean, it was just years and years of this. And I realized actually recently that I have actually always been in a fight or flight response. I've
Okay.
always been dysregulated, and I didn't realize that until I started doing spinal energetics, where it brought me back to a state of calm. And so I ran a couple multi six-figure businesses as a fitness coach first, and then I got into business coaching for other coaches for a few years. And I built a team up to about 6 to 7 people. It was amazing. But during that time, I was just like, so something was off. Like, where you just like, something doesn't feel right. You're out of alignment. You're showing up because you have to show up. Things just weren't feeling good. And I just ignored it. I ignored that inner voice in me. And then the universe put me through the ringer. I overnight lost my house. I lost everything I ever owned, to a wildfire. And
Mm.
I was actually home when the fire came. I barely made it out alive. My dog and it was crazy, crazy intense. And I went into even worse fight or flight response. I completely dissociated. I went into this period where just looking at a candle burn, I was dysregulated, where just hearing loud noises, I would go into a panic attack. There were so many things where I was so stuck inside of me that I wasn't able to show up for my business anymore. And I ended up having to lose my business as well. So with like literally overnight, I lost everything, years and years of things that I worked so hard for. And then I lost my business and I just fell apart. I hit my ultimate rock bottom. And so that catapulted me into this beautiful healing journey where I first did ayahuasca down in Costa Rica. And then I started getting into energy healing and Reiki and all those things. And I just started noticing a huge difference. And then I relaunched my business and I came back tenfold. And throughout that process, so that was actually about 3 years ago when the fire happened. Believe it or not, I was still dysregulated. I was still running this business and building a team where I was so afraid of failure. And I finally found out that it was stemming from losing it all again. Like there was this little belief in me, like, what's the point of building all of this again when I'm just going to lose it all again?
Mm.
And so I was running this business where I was still holding onto trauma. There's a lot of trauma stuff trapped within the tissues of my cells and my body and my nervous system and my energetic layers. And not to mention, it stirred up so many other things from past lives and family trauma, that whole ancestral line. Things just blah. I was a freaking hot mess, to put it blunt. And so after doing that for a few years, I ended up shutting that business down. So I shut that business down earlier this year. And then I was just like totally surrendered to the universe. I'm like, just teach me what I need to know, who I need to become. And I went even deeper into the healing journey of becoming my own healer
Yes.
and a healer for other people. So I got into becoming an intuitive energy healer, hypnotherapist, uh, life coaching, spinal energetics. That's when that came through. That's the main thing that I do now. And so many other things. I'm actually doing somatic breath work right now and learning how to do that, since that's super important. And so now there's just this new person within me that's coming out that I've never met before. And it's exciting. It's scary.
Ah.
Like a whole new business is transforming because of it. And it has led me down this path where, having now known that what I went through is now who I get to help with when it comes to helping other business coaches create a regulated nervous system. Because when you can create a regulated nervous system, manifestations come to life.
That's
Like,
right.
I mean, why not have a business where you not only make a shit ton of money, but you get to come from a place of so much happiness and joy and peace and calmness within. You can have both. And I put that limit on me. The more I grew, the more, problems I had, right? More money, more problems. That is a
Yeah.
limiting belief. And so, yeah, long story, kind of short.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it in, like, I know we've just met, but even that shift, from explaining where you were and how it wasn't resonating with you to where you are now.
Mm,
And with everything that you are doing, I strongly believe in all of that. And these are the tools I feel like are so important now that we've learned them for ourselves, how important it is for us to teach that. And in the same breath, to second that, how important it is for us to be a masters of our own shadow. That brings the
yeah.
passion forward into all the work that you do because you can resonate more with it, and then you can resonate more with your clients and the people
Oh,
that you're working with,
yeah. Oh, that's so true. That's so
right?
true.
Yeah, because if you didn't experience that and seeing that glimpse of the light and you resonated so much with it, you would not have dove deeper into this practice.
Hmm.
But because it works for you, and it actually would work for everybody if people were just open to it. I don't care if you're religious or not. They both go hand in hand on the spiritual aspect.
Oh,
They
they
really
do. Yeah.
mhm.
I used to be more of like that woo woo type, like when I first started getting into this.
Yeah.
But then I really started studying and researching about nervous system regulation, which really is our energy. It is.
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with science. Like I come from a very
Yeah.
logistical family. Like my dad's a doctor, most of my brothers, they're engineers. And so they think I'm like a witch. It's kind of funny. And I look at them, I'm like, you guys, it's freaking science, you all.
Yeah,
It really
buddy.
is. Like everything is made of energy. Our body is made of energy. Everything is energy.
That's right.
It's just, you can't not say that that's not true.
No.
So,
And all parts of it are activated through frequency. So
yeah.
being human within itself, we're already low on the frequency level.
Yeah.
We need to do things to elevate our frequency, and these tools are amazing, like the somatic breath work, the energetic work. Like, we all actually have the ability to heal ourselves.
Oh,
We do.
100%.
It's
100%.
in all of us. But we're so far removed from these practices that for us that have learning, it's our responsibility and our blueprint to teach this. We have to
Mhm.
bring this knowledge back forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
it's been around so long, we've just lost it, and now
Yes.
we're getting it back. We're
That's
learning
right.
how to do this again. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to congratulate you for listening to yourself and honoring where you're at. And it takes a lot of courage to close a business because it's not aligning. It does. We get these old thoughts coming in. We're creating these stories about ourselves that we're fucking losers and we can't do this and whatever else is in the way that
Mm.
can creep up into our current, and it's just they're lies. They're not even true.
Yeah.
And it it builds up in our subconscious like a muscle memory, and it takes a lot of courage and work to work through that and allow yourself to actually feel what's coming up for you. So
Thank
congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, because this world needs
I
you, girl. Needs
No,
you.
thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, I there were many, 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 many moments, even today, of like, do I really have what it takes? And then it's just that quick little switch. Damn right I do. Let's
Damn right
fucking
you
go.
do, girl.
Every one of us, every single one listening, you have what it takes.
Yeah,
Keep
you just got to
going.
believe in it. I mean, for me, I it didn't mine was backwards. I didn't believe in it. I just knew that if I didn't do these things, I was gonna fucking explode. Like, if I didn't fall into fitness as my passion, if I didn't create a podcast to share the truth, there was things about it that I had zero confidence doing, but the mission was so loud in me that if I didn't do it, something bad was going to happen. Like I was going to get sick or whatever,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's how much energy I had to like
Yeah. Yeah.
put it out there.
I always say the universe will always give you what you secretly desire. And if you don't listen to it, it's going to whip you into an absolute shit show until you do
That's
take
right.
action. Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
I
does.
agree. I
So
agree.
I look back on like the fire, and before that, I kind of knew deep within, like, I'm a healer. I'm a healer. But I
Yeah.
avoided it, and I was very money driven at the time. And it happened in the month of January, which is always our best revenue month. And that month we made $0. And
Whoa.
I like my healers were, I was having conversations with them, and my guides were, they were telling my guides were like, we're sorry we had to do that to you, but that was the only way. That's the only way to get you to get out of this business and start doing what you're really meant to do.
That's
I was
right.
like, well, shit, okay, could have been a little nicer about it.
That's hilarious. That just gave me goosebumps all over. Yeah, the
Yeah.
universe definitely has a way of showing itself to you for you.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I think it's really important to understand how our brain works and how our thoughts actually dictate our actions. They
Uh-huh.
can be the driver of our car. Um, but in a lot of times in, something I can attest, you just got to surrender and be like, "Hey, fuck, like I have zero control over the situation. I just need to trust in the
Mhm.
process. Give it up.
Yes.
Give it up."
Yes. Surrender. Surrender. And I'm not talking surrender like sit on the couch and be a couch potato and wait for somebody to come knocking on the door like, oh,
That's
here's your,
right.
your dream loved one you've been asking for, or the business you've been asking for. You got to continue, like surrender in a place where you can really just listen to what feels good within your body to take that next aligned action, that next step
That's
towards what it is. And you may not even know what it is. Like I'm still learning what it is. Like I'm getting
right.
more and more clarity, but that clarity comes through the healing and by taking that aligned action.
Good for you. Great message. Um, I think everybody listening to this can resonate. Can we go, can we talk a little bit more about what your practice is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, most people are like, you do what? What the hell is that? Talk to me. Let me dive into that for sure. So, spinal energetics, what the heck is this? So, it's actually a very, very potent healing modality that combines both Eastern and Western modalities. It works directly with your spine, which is really the main vault to your nervous system. It's the main place that stores most trauma, trapped emotions, all of these things. And so what we do is we work with your spine and your energy to help release those things within you that have not been able to fully process. And we go through these experiences throughout our life, especially in childhood, where we hold on to things and we don't have that safe environment or the tools or resources to be able to process it. So, what spinal energetics does, it brings back that mind to body connection at first and really taps into your body's own intelligence, its own innate wisdom, the same wisdom that heals a cut, that pumps your
Mhm.
heart, that digests your food. It's the automatic system within you, it's the energy within you that never dies, it's always there. And so, that system, that innate wisdom within each and every single one of us will naturally heal you. And it does that through a lot of movements, crying, screaming, purging like things. If you were to see a video of spinal energetics, if you were to go to, like just to their Instagram, it might look scary at first because you'll see somebody on the table and they're making all of these movements. You might see them crying or screaming or whatever. And that is much later in the process. At first, we have to bring that mind to body connection back in first. We have to bring that safety back in to get them out of that fight or flight response, to really tap into their own ability, their own healing powers, to allow them to now let go of what they've been holding on to for so long. So that's spinal energetics. Really, we're finding We call them fixation points along the spine or on the body, where we tend to hold those emotions, those trapped emotions. And I mean, if you were to, I'll just use this as an example. We tend to store a lot of stress in our neck and our shoulders. So a
Mhm.
lot of clients that I work with, especially in the business space, tend to have a lot right here, or at
'Kay.
least I did. And you can feel how tense it is. Like we tend to shrug our shoulders more, or we have shallow breathing. Those are all signs of a dysregulated nervous system. So by bringing that point onto the body, and you can do this energetically, which means you can do it virtually. You can actually do spinal energetics in person or online, which is beautiful. You are able to bring that mind to body connection by bringing that intention, by bringing that physical sensation to the spine or the area within the body to finally let it go. And then you're really just there to help the client. You're helping them release whatever needs to be released. And through the cues that we have learned in spinal energetics, we're able to see where energy is built up, where it's stuck through the movement of the body, and help push the energy through and allow all the chakras to align back up and to really get the energy flowing again, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and on that personal soul layer.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's, I can just feel, like, the people who are not knowledgeable in this going, "What the fuck are you saying?" Like, pushing the energy through. Let's give an example for you all listeners. If you are surrounding yourself with somebody who is negative and gossips and just has drama constantly, are you telling me you walk away from that conversation not feeling drained and like you have literally just stored and taken in some of their shit, like
Mhm.
completely? If you have not dealt with any trauma and you've stuffed that shit so deep, that shit gets stored in your body. It just does.
Yeah.
When you have a release, when you're actually allowing your body, giving yourself time to feel those feelings and letting them surface, it is such a relief. You feel enlightened, you feel light,
Mm.
you have clarity, you see things differently, you might smell things differently, taste things differently. Um, and that's where I feel we have a misunderstanding of what all that is. Because 'cause I'm telling you, there's science to back that up. There it's there. You can find it and look it up yourself. Like,
Mhm.
it's and I notice a huge difference in myself even when I teach. When I teach, it's like therapy for me, honestly, because there's just so much channeling, so much movement, so much breath work, just concepts to think about
Mhm.
that do come through things. There's just so many facets to life and our thoughts and where they go and how they can actually hold us down. I
Mm.
mean, generally we have about, I mean, how many thoughts do we have in a day? Well, 80 to 90% of them are the same ones. There's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
thousands of thoughts,
Oh,
right?
I love that quote. Like, you could easily Google that
Yeah.
statistic. Now it's 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And of those 60 to 80,000, 80% of them are negative, and then 90% of those are repetitive.
Right.
So if you continue to think how you always thought, you'll get what you always thought. Right.
Mhm.
So if you're
Mhm.
always in this negative, this average thinking pattern, guess what you're going to attract more of according to law of attraction?
Yeah.
So being able to get out of that, and people wonder, well, how do I get out of that? How do I get unstuck out of this trauma cycle, this looping pattern where I can't get myself to the gym, where I can't stop thinking about being perfect or get out of my people pleasing behaviors. And it comes down to getting into your body first and
That's
allowing those things to finally process that you've been holding on to, and then bringing that safety back in.
yeah. Yeah. Cause like, even, like, back in my day when I was so focused on just the physical fitness, um, it didn't matter how fit I was, I still thought I was fat.
Yeah.
I still felt worthless. because I had not gone into the psychological part of why I'm even doing what I'm doing. So when I teach my classes, something that I've been doing more often actually is reminding people, why are you even here to begin with? What is it that you're running away from? Let's
Mhm.
bring that feeling here in the present moment. Let's just do the release
Yeah.
and feel that in your body. Feel that through your breath work without letting your mind get torn into it. Let's feel it in our body. Put your hand where you're feeling it, breathing into it. Let the emotions come through if they need to come through, and then teach them how that is a release within itself. And
Yes.
just to go back to like the comment that you made or question more or less of how to pivot back out of that and how to make that change. You don't have to fully love yourself yet at that point. It literally takes that slight pivot, even just if you're taking a deep breath,
Mhm.
go for a walk in nature, pet your dog or your cat. Um,
Small steps.
it's the smallest things, and it never happens overnight. But to be a master at anything takes time and practice.
Mhm.
So give yourself permission to have more compassion for yourself. Give yourself
Yeah.
permission to just be where you are instead of trying to force anything else to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, a lot of my clients, they are typically stuck in trauma cycles or patterns, and often that's associated to a stuck energy within their body from a past experience. So in other words, your nervous system, if you want to like kind of get on the science side of this, your nervous system responded back in the day to a situation or event, and like we are like animals where if you see a lion, you get scared, you go into fight or flight, but then animals are able to go back to their parasympathetic state in that
That's
rest
right.
and calm state. But us humans, sometimes, well, most of the time, so many humans, especially nowadays, end up staying stuck in that chronic fight or flight. And so when other similar situations happen in their present day life, they get stuck. And you have to go back to that moment in time when that first cycle started happening and bring that safety back in. So that's where inner child healing can be really powerful. Doing those breathwork sessions to just reset, basically shock your nervous system to remind it, like, hey, it's okay. We're here now. That
Mm.
was in the past. And instead of reacting to your current reality, you can now respond to the reality that you wish to create.
Ooh,
So yes, I just wanted to add that in really quick.
that's fucking good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, it makes so much sense
Mhm.
um, to all of that, and I know it's not this conversation. There's nothing been a blanket statement about it yet so far, so we can understand the complexities to this work. And that's why it's important just to slow down and just honor that part of us. Um, okay, so where do you live? Where are you from?
Colorado.
Colorado. All
Yes.
right. How's
Where
your
are
weather
you at?
there? I'm in Vancouver, BC,
Oh,
West
cool.
Coast. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Right by the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful here. It rains here a lot at this time of the year.
No, it doesn't.
Um, yeah, there's been a huge shift to coming from summer to this weather, and it gets darker faster. It's cold all of a sudden. It's now
Oof.
raining,
Yep.
and there's a huge heaviness that comes over people. So a lot of people that live here will go somewhere sunny. So we got a lot of
Mm.
snowbirds.
Mhm.
And speaking of season change coming into the winter seasons where we're hunkering down a little bit more, that's where this work is really profound and it's extremely helpful. Not to mention having a balanced lifestyle where you're getting enough hydration, you're eating the right foods like whole foods. You probably want to supplement more with your D vitamin, but getting an adequate enough sleep. If
Mm.
you're not having those things, you're not able to sleep properly, you're probably your nervous system is not regulated,
Yep, that
for
is a
one.
sign it's a trauma response.
That's right. But what I have come to terms with is feeling the guilt and shame of, like, in the past of my current situation, the way that I'm feeling, not understanding I was malnourished. I
Mm,
wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't hydrated enough. I needed certain supplements that my body was lacking. And I think those things also need to be considered because I think we can create more, we can overthink it too in the same aspect. So, with that being said, that's why I like to teach what I teach to help people get a better relationship with their mind, body, soul.
mm,
Listening to that intuition, ask yourself those deeper questions. Do I need more? Or am I hanging on to things that are not mine? And when you get quiet enough, the answers definitely come up, and the universe has a way of showing itself to you when you've just been open into surrendering to whatever that is. I love how that, like, just came out like that after.
that was beautiful. Well done.
That's too funny. Good. Now, is there any advice, if knowing that you had the world listening to you right now, a piece of advice you could give everybody just off the top of your head?
Mm, I'm kind of being brought back to my earlier statement of no matter where you're at in your life right now, instead of reacting to your current reality, respond to the future that you want.
Oh,
So know that healing is possible for anybody, no matter how fucked up you think you are. And which, by the way, you are not fucked up.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. You are okay. This is just a period in your life that's only temporary. And the true you is already within you. You're not becoming somebody else. You're just being reminded who you are. And
Oof.
these onions, like you mentioned earlier, it's just like you're peeling back these events and emotions and traumas that are not yours to hold on to anymore. You can let them go to get back to your true self, which is unconditional love.
Unbelievable. And yeah, that, again, for our listeners, it doesn't happen overnight, but just trust that it is there for you. And you just keep
Mm-hmm.
leaning into the things that are, good for your body, let's say, and then try to connect your mind to that. I mean, listening to this podcast will be one of them, give you something to think about and bring in some perspective, maybe some things that you are hanging on to, and that there is space to release and let that shit go.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody that has any further questions about the energetic work, I encourage you to reach out to Amanda. She is on my podcast, and I believe we're following you on Raw Babes too. That being said, what is the best way to contact you?
I would say Instagram. So
Okay.
my Instagram handle is at Amanda underscore Omera underscore and or Facebook, but I'd say Instagram. I'm on there a little bit more. Yep.
Awesome. Are you on YouTube yet?
I was on the last business. Don't go on there, at least at the time of this making of this episode. I still got my old stuff on there. So yeah, I maybe someday, someday I'll dabble into that. I'm working on creating my own podcast first and kind of playing in that world, which is super exciting.
Very good.
So
Well, if you have
yeah.
any questions in that regard, I am an open book and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look you up, put you on my little subscribe list. So
Yes.
if you're not subscribed to Tiff's channel yet, you better. Just thought just saying
Thanks.
there, a little CTA for you.
I love it. Well, I want to just honor you for the path that you're on, and this is your green light just to keep going. And I am so grateful that you answered the call, and the I do reach out to I have a lot of conversations with people, especially on social media, and I try really hard not to take it personal when someone doesn't respond, but it does say a lot when someone does. And you just trusting in the process and responding. I was like, this is perfect, because if it doesn't flow, it just doesn't go. And
Yeah.
if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. So
I agree. Yes, yes. No, when you popped in, I just intuitively picked up. It's like when somebody walks in the room, you can already sense their energy. And when you
yeah.
popped in my DMs, I was like, I like this chick. I have a chat
Yeah.
with her.
Would you be open if I pulled a card for you?
Oh, please go for it.
Okay. I'm using the Sacred Creators, the Oracle
Beautiful.
deck. This is a newer one for me, and I really like this one because it's pretty straightforward. It's simple, and it's got obviously a deeper message within it. But this is going to be for you, and then any of the listeners, if you resonate with this, this is for you too. And I encourage anybody, listening, when it comes to card pulls, if you don't resonate with it, leave it. Just take what you
Mm.
resonate with and just leave the rest. We don't need to try to control or try to understand things that are not within our bandwidth. I think that's really important. Oh, there you
Mm.
go. So we have a few. You know what? A chunk came out, but there was one that was specific. And this is cool.
I do the same response when I do card readings. It's so funny how they closely resonate. It's just it
You
makes me
can't make this shit up. Look at raw intention.
nice.
And
Nice.
it's the number 22. So
Mm,
if you're a numbers girl,
I
that
am.
to me means a lot. So, and I thought that was number one in the middle, but it's not. So I'm going to go into, I mean, you can use your intuition on this one, but I'm going to read it from the book anyways. Okay, so, oh, that is not it. That was wrong page. Okay, raw intention. Intention brought to life, wild power, savage love, divine intervention, powerful inspiration, channeling messages from source.
Oh, that's awesome.
The self care message, holding on to details too tightly, not allowing source to intervene, missed opportunities, getting stuck in your story, unchecked emotion that has been sabotaging your efforts. Intention can be raw or it can be refined. Refined intention gets polished and perfected and turned into marketing, a resume, a vision board, and it is always tinted by the layers of our own perception. Raw intention is wilder than that. It's pure, unrefined, and authentic. It's the mother who lifts a car with her bare hands to save her child because raw power does not ask questions, it just does. And so it is. By virtue of simply being human, you have this wild and natural magic inside of you. And you may be spending too much time filtering your raw power as a way to fit in or as a way to be others want you to be, who others want you to be. Unleash your pure intention, and you will radiate so much innate magic that you'll move mountains. Allow spontaneity,
I can't say that word
spontaneous,
either.
and divine love to guide you, and pay attention to whim, desire, inclination, and impulse. If you notice any unwanted emotions surfacing like anger, sadness, fear, or guilt, simply be with them, hear them, notice them, ask them why they are present, and they will likely point a much deeper need that sounds something like, I am seen, I am loved, I am accepted, I am safe. Remind yourself that you are all these things and draw your power from there. Some questions to consider. What are your wild and unnept intentions calling into your life? What needs to be heard? What can you work with them mindfully to build the life of your dreams? One way of channeling raw intentions is to do a little automatic writing. Ask your question to the universe and sit with an open mind, a blank page, and a curious heart. allow messages from the unconscious mind to flow onto your page. Just write or doodle and shift. There you go,
Wow.
Mila.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
You're welcome. That was my pleasure.
Incredible. How
Oh,
fun. This was super
right?
fun.
Yay, good. Um, yeah, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. Again, thank you so much for hopping on and just being part of this journey. And sister, I support you and all that you're doing. I think you're doing amazing things. So keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Ciao for now, guys.
Bye.